good evening. You are on the Alanya Life Uncensored channel. And today we continue our enjoyable walk through the Alanya Fortress. And today we will show you what we didn't have time to include in the previous episode. Let's go and look at the beautiful landscapes. Let's go. So friends, from the highest point of the fortress, from its very cape, we begin to descend on the slope that is gentler, not as steep. This is the eastern side of the peninsula. And now we will show you from above how the views open up. Here is the entire fortress wall in front of you. You can go all the way down and there is a small observation deck right on the wall. It will be beautiful to see. Well, I want to say that this side of the peninsula is less steep and more gentle. Here, a large number of modern houses are arranged in steps, where people currently live. We are now going to walk through the streets. And look, there are some boats down there, and some of them are for tours. I told you about that excursion around the Cape. And I don't know if it's visible or not, if the camera captures it, but there are many people swimming, that is, in the clear water near the far shore. People are diving and swimming. It's great. Look here, a path has been made for pedestrians along the slope next to the roadway. It is fenced off and, you know, it literally hangs over the edge of the cliff at the very, very edge. And there, right under our feet, almost literally under our feet, are roofs and small houses. From here, you get a view not only of the lower part of the fortress and its wall, but you can also see the upper part. Just a bit to the left, if you look, not only the pedestrian path, but also houses hang over the edge of the cliff here. Look how it is situated right on the edge. But I don't know. There's not even a sidewalk there. And the little balcony, the upper part juts out, even overhangs the road. What a beautiful structure, still the same Balkan style, wooden shutters, all covered in ivy. The aromas here are amazing. Everything is in bloom. And the same cicadas. And so, friends, while walking along this path, by the way, it is very easy to walk because we are going downhill. Our legs just carry us. We start to come across restaurants and cafes, and they are all interesting because they all have a panoramic view of the waterfront. Now we have stopped near a small restaurant called Panorama. Well, it's not called that for nothing, right? Take a look. We have descended one level lower. Now you are looking at the battlements of the upper wall. And lower, lower, and lower. I don't know how many meters, probably to a level of 50 meters or 100 we have descended. There is a small observation deck. Do you see it? The same battlements. By the way, you can walk along the edge, well, along the edge of this fortress wall. Friends, we specifically stopped to show how narrow the path is here. 2 cars definitely cannot pass through these gates, through this little tunnel. Look, here is the masonry of the fortress itself, the walls. It naturally continues the stone, the rock. How did they manage to build it like this? It has been standing for so many centuries. Look, to shorten the path from one tier to another, you can go down these little staircases. They are quite common here. We were jumping and skipping around. In no time, we were already on the lower tier. Please take a look. These are some of the many gates that have been preserved in a more or less tolerable condition. Well, they did a bit of restoration, but you see all of them were quite narrow, although tall for those times. And now we are entering. We briefly stepped outside the fortress wall, but now we are back inside the fortress wall, that is, in the old town area. Friends, let me tell you something. Look, all the houses that are built here now are restored houses. Modern construction is strictly prohibited here. Somewhere I even read in the media that all of this is preserved as UNESCO heritage. That means it is neither allowed to rebuild in any way, nor to restore. So how did these houses, this residential development, appear here and when all of this was already in place at the beginning of the 20th century? Here, the townspeople built houses, even quite decent villas. Now, I don't know if it will be possible, but we will show you which houses have been preserved. Here are real houses from the early 20th century. One is even for sale. Look, it will be sold for a crazy amount of money. Property prices are insanely high. And then they somehow restore it. It will be like new and people will live there. So These streets, they are incredibly wonderful, incredibly beautiful. They are somehow so authentic. That is to say, you understand the appearance has been preserved, although everything is kind of new and neat, but the look of the life that was there almost 2 centuries ago remains. Here. Of course, the cobblestones are soaked. Walking is a bit inconvenient, but the atmosphere is great. And now, we will definitely come across some beautiful houses. We have some favorite spots here. We will definitely take closer shots of them. And also, friends, there are a couple of small hotels on these streets. One of them is a boutique hotel, and the other one, I think, is just called a hotel. How adorable they are! They are in just such an old mansion, simply a marvel. And there is also a café hanging right over the cliff. Maybe we will stop by there now and have a cup of coffee. Is this a hotel, Maxim? No, it's a café and restaurant. Yes. You see, everything is done in this style, consistently maintained. Well, there are some houses that stand out a little bit from the overall picture. Hozlikoi, right? Yes, here is the first hotel. It is called Villa Turca. The staircase leading there is quite steep. I must say, it's quite difficult to walk here, especially in the heat, because everything is steep. Up the steps. Well, you know, spending a romantic week here. Well, maybe a week is too long, but coming here with your beloved will be memorable for a long time. So, and right ahead is the hotel we were talking about, Harmony Boutique Hotel. There is a very nice cafe there. Maybe, Maxim, yes. Let's sit down in the cafe, yes. And let's show our friends the views from this cafe. See, do you see? Yes, this is the cafe. They don't have a place to eat inside the hotel itself, so everything happens here. All breakfasts are served here. It's simply wonderful. We'll get you a business card for this hotel if you want. Friends, look. So, here you are, sitting by a large window, let's say a window, and drinking coffee. And you see this wonder? Yes, just a wonder, right, friends? Come, you won't regret it. Friends, look, this is the Red Tower. Why is it called the Red Tower? Well, naturally, it is built from red brick. It was built according to a design, and an architect from Syria was invited. Naturally, all this happened during the time when Sultan Alaeddin Keykubat was here, in the heyday of this city. So, the tower, it has a height of 33 meters and a diameter of 29 meters. Inside, by the way, there was a reservoir for storing water, and now there are ethnographic museums inside it. You can easily visit it while strolling here. And to the right, you see, this is a large pier. You know, it can accommodate such large liners which may not be transatlantic, but oceanic, big ones. By the way, a ferry also departs from here to northern Cyprus. And in winter there are always liners cruising the Mediterranean Sea here. And it explodes her about this address more conveniently.
Okay.
Now we are strolling through these little streets. Here is the atmosphere of the ancient city. Look at the stone walls, the stone masonry, or at least an imitation, well, like it used to be. These restored houses. Look at the overhanging balconies. This is exactly the Balkan style. We spent a lot of time in Plovdiv, Bulgaria, and saw many such houses. Oh, the aromas here. Something is blooming, I don't even know what. Well, there are some things that are still not restored, old and ruined, but it still doesn't spoil the overall impression, the overall atmosphere. Overall, it is very beautiful and romantic here. Just look, isn't it a wonder? They somehow managed to set up a basketball hoop. And the bench, Maxim, show the bench. It's shaped like a boat, like an old ship. Well, it's wonderful, such views of the stairs going up. But this, by the way, I think is a mosque building. Yes, here are the foot washing stations. Well, nevertheless, it's indicative. Here they are, the stone walls. For the residents, of course.
In our episodes, we covered everything about life in Turkey and traveling across the country, where it is warm almost year-round. Tall palm trees, fresh farm fruits and vegetables all year-round. If you decide to choose a place to live here, our company, Prime Invest, will be happy to help you find the best option where you will be happy to live. We are also developers and build beautiful villas with sea and mountain views. All contact details are in the description.
It's not easy, in my opinion. Somehow you need to manage to find a parking spot, fit your car somewhere here. Up the steps, up the stairs, always upwards. But it's difficult. This, apparently, is not quite restored, I would say. Not restored at all, but it is residential. Part of this house is residential. No, Maxim, on that side to the right, it is residential. Do you see how it all used to be? Well, now they have restored it. Cicadas, or omnipresent cicadas. The road is getting narrower and narrower. Notice, here, the width is probably no more than a little over a meter. People live right among modern residential buildings here. Look, please. Both the wall and the remains of some old house. Yes, everything is entwined with, oh, grapes. It's not ivy, it's grapes. Probably wild. Oh, and a window. Look. For some reason I remembered the Italian film Signor Robinson. Do you remember it? He would come to the ocean every day to watch a movie. What's showing today? Today, the sea is showing. And here is a very interesting house, and more precisely, a very interesting resident. He produces these. He grows them, you see, these Turkish pumpkins. Honestly, I don't exactly remember their names. And then he makes all sorts of lamps and souvenirs out of them. And now he is not here, but we somehow observed him and already... You are sweet. What are you? Golden demo. And in his work, those pumpkins were so beautiful, painted. And look, how the house stands nearby. Look, it is directly adjacent. The fortress wall. Guys, look at its courtyard. It's just some kind of miracle. Here is the house, and here is the yard, with the fortress wall. Cool. Now we are descending one more level down. There, right at the very base of the fortress wall, where the dry docks are and where the red tower is. And guys, we have a tough journey ahead of us. Right here, well, it's hard work. Indeed. Here, it's not even a paved road, but just natural stones and cobblestones. Polished. You know, they are polished to a shine by the poor feet of tourists who come here in crowds. And just like that, so neatly, like this. I don't really know how to say this. Well, it's an opening that's fortified for us, right in the fortress wall. Like this. Isn't it great? Just a few painful steps in the dark and we are free again. Do you know how it works here? We understood the structure of this fortress wall and the city itself. It is indeed arranged in tiers, and each tier encircles almost every wall. Of course, not every wall is as strong as the first one, which protected from the sea, from enemies coming from the sea, but nevertheless, the walls are still quite powerful. In other words, the builders really did a great job here. Oh, steep and slippery, let's put it that way. You need to be careful. There are all kinds of fruit trees growing everywhere. The figs are already ripening. The pomegranates are so large. We are already waiting and can't wait to eat figs. Everything here is very fragrant. You know, in Turkey everything blooms all season long. It's not like in spring everything blooms brightly, and then it's over. For example, like it is with us. No? All summer something new blooms one after another. One fades, another begins. Scents are everywhere. You see, yes, we have already descended to the very base of the foundation and the red tower and the fortress wall. By the way, look here. I want to draw your attention to the western side of the fortress and this peninsula. It is completely impregnable, and there are no roads there, and the fortress wall itself does not descend to the water. And here the fortress wall descends right down to the water, and the tower stands on a flat surface, that is, where it is already level right by the water. And it is precisely here that these shipyards and dry docks are also located. Now we will try to get there too. Attention, look, here is the tourism bureau in Lanisco. You can take headphones, that is, a guide, an audio guide, and walk around the old town, not just wandering aimlessly like blind kittens, but in an informative way. Here is the entrance to the museum I told you about, which is located on the first floor. Guys, of course, not through this door, that's for sure. Do you have a ticket office? Well, the ticket office is behind us. This small door just shows how people used to enter. It costs 10 Turkish lira per person. Entrance ticket. This is a section of the fortress wall. incredibly well restored, made into a walking area. And here and there, exhibits of ancient tools that were used in those centuries are installed. And here is what I was telling you about. Along the edge of the wall, there is a small path that you can walk on. And right at the foot, you see now, this is the city beach. It's quite small, probably not very clean. But do you know what's interesting about it? It's that you can encounter loggerhead sea turtles here. I wanted to say, they nest here. Just kidding, I'm just amusing you. But somewhere around here, they do lay eggs, and they have been spotted here. And there to the right you see, with beautiful lighting, those are exactly the docks to the shipyard. Visiting them requires a fee, but we will now get closer and take a quick look inside and show you. Look at how they have illuminated this fortress wall, right? Everything is new with such lighting, and there is a lower path, a lower walkway, and this upper one right along the wall. Well, just wonderful. And again, these cicadas. There are 2 cafes here. This is not a restaurant. I wouldn't even call it a proper cafe. It's more like a local, well, I don't know how to say it, just a local little cafe. They serve gözleme here, gözleme. Gözleme is a type of flatbread with various fillings. It's very cheap here. The prices are quite reasonable. And so we often stop here with Maxim for a quick bite when we're out walking. To get to the shipyards, you need to take a rather difficult path. Up and down on the steps, and then in the end, guys, you need to crawl through this small hole. Let me show you how to do it. Well, that's how it is. Why is it like that? Well, they just didn't widen the passage. Let's go a bit closer. It's already closed there. Well, here we are, the ancient walls. In my opinion, I don't even know if they were ever restored. Let's get a little closer. Unfortunately, it's closed. But we can show you, first of all, the cost of the visit here in Turkish lira. And if you take, for example, a combined visit to these shipyards and the Red Tower, it will be 15 lira, saving you 5, open from 10 to 19. Well, now they are filled with water, but apparently, at some moments, it was dry. There are a total of 5 chambers here, meaning that 5 ships could be accommodated simultaneously. Although no, if you look along the moat, there are indeed dry areas where damaged ships were pulled out and repaired. In total, it turns out, I even made a note for myself, the length is 56.5 meters and the width is 44 meters. Friends, the second part of our walk through Kale is completed. You know, we don't even want to say goodbye or leave. It's so great here. We'll probably sit somewhere in the shade now, under some tall canopies.
Let's have some coffee. One more time.
And we will sit and wait until everything is fully lit up.
Friends, thank you for watching us. Come visit us here in Alanya. We are waiting for you. Subscribe to our channel.
Please, we would appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.